We have the finance minister's press conference, which is still on. But before that, I'd like to get a comment in from past President FICCI, Naina Kidwai, joining me from FICCI. And we also have with us Piruz Khambatta, who's chairman and MD of Rasna from CI. But Naina, to you first, broad picture. Many people believe that in this budget, it's given a very long-term gradual vision of where we want to go. But in terms of solving the NBFC crisis, bringing all corporate tax down to 25%, not letting this 2 rupee increase in petrol happen, it's a bit wishy-washy. What do you think?
Well, certainly it's very strong on vision. And the detail is left for the analysis which we need to do of the budget document.
We'll come back.
From my look at the commitment on public sector banks, the 70,000 crore commitment is an important one. I suspect it's not coming from the fisc because the fiscal deficit is being maintained, in fact, committed to 3.3%, which is pretty remarkable. And it's quite likely that that 70,000 crore is being looked at from the RBI dividend, which government has been looking to sequester. And it would actually be the right use of those funds. Regarding the NBFC sector, it clearly needs attention. The recognition that it needs attention is there in the budget, so directionally right. Is it really within the Finance Ministry's watch? It is to some extent, and there's discussion of the credit enhancement, which is important as a tool. But shifting it to RBI, squarely into RBI's court from NHB is important. And it is really from RBI that we will see the actions that must come. So I think significant in terms of tackling what is really a liquidity crisis, which could help the corporate sector enormously if the money is brought in. And let's not forget the capital markets, debt capital markets, lifting of a very critical cap that has been there for a long time on debt, allowing FPIs and FIIs to invest at a higher level, and also government's own borrowing from abroad are all steps that help in terms of the liquidity. So it's good and very positive.
Yeah. From the FMCG sector and otherwise, what do you make of it, Mr. Khambatta? Is this going to, I mean, we spoke about liquidity, but we are also worried about the 2 rupee inflationary impact of the fuel price hike. Things become tighter for the Aam Aadmi, which is what, it's like punishment right after an election. What's going to be the sentimental impact of this?
See, I think there are two problems which is not addressing. One is FMCG and many industries are going through a total slowdown. And I don't think how this budget is going to help that slow down in a very short time. I don't see that. Second, there is the intention of the government that we want to do to a $5 trillion economy, dollar economy, but it won't come without private sector investment, and that has dried up. People are not investing. Indian companies are not investing. Foreigners are not investing. Fresh capital, probably they are buying off some cheap assets because they are going off for a song. But there is no real greenfield investment either by Indian or foreign companies. And I don't see in this budget what has been announced, probably except batteries and EVs and all that, where they are solar, where they want some big ticket investments to come in. I really don't know something concrete which has been announced in this budget. I'm trying to still figure out which will get this slowdown out and which will get more private sector investment. Now, just a few days back, the Prime Minister announced he wants more corporate players in agriculture. He went on record to say you don't just make tractors, you come in agriculture. But then how do we come? Because the sector is closed for us. How do we come when the taxes are so high? So I think we were expecting a lot of the things which will be announced so that more and more private sector investment comes into agriculture. To give an example, that is lacking. Similarly, exports. Now, we are saying make in India, and yes, we'll make, let us say, big plants here to make mobile phones, but why can't we export things which we already are making? So I think that is something, and how exports can be enhanced with income tax benefits, income tax allowances, by getting more technology, more depreciation. So I would definitely believe specific incentives, specific directions, specific
only
moves,
one thing, Mr. Khambatta, everything may not be coming in a budget. That's the only thing that one can say possibly, which you can take solace out of.
I will.
No, you don't think so?
But when you announce so many other things, I'll just give it. See, GST should not have been mentioned in the budget. GST is not part of the budget. So if they can say GST on solar EV vehicles can go down to 5%, why not on food processing? There are so many food processing products for the Aam Aadmi, like for example biscuits, for example sharbats, for example the idli mixes. There are so many food products at 18%. Now, if you are saying EV vehicles should be 5%, affordable housing should be 5%, and that you announce in the budget, but you don't announce the food processing bit of it. So I think to that extent, when you said that we should wait for the other things to happen, it is not happening. But I'll tell you something good about the budget also. The budget is quite good in terms of ensuring that the digital economy moves, simplification of returns, the simplification of forms, and on a lot of EODB measures. I think the budget is good also, because it will definitely help the EODB rankings of the country, which I think indirectly may bring in private investment.
Right.
But when I'm talking of concrete steps to revive economy, I have not seen those. To revive manufacturing, I have not seen those. And I always believe, and I should say this one thing, that you give a farmer 6,000 rupees, that is not going to make him rich. That is just like saying I'll give a poor man a lunch every day. We need to create an ecosystem so that he becomes big. He needs a bigger farm, he needs better value addition, he needs to be taught to how to double his income.
Yeah, I mean this, you know, I'm with you on this that, you know.
All this can happen in private sector.
Okay, so one question is why burden the Aam Aadmi after an election? Second question is where is the bold big reform? But then there's just been an election. Question to Naina before I go is that, Naina, what are the solutions for the NBFC crisis? People may not be saying it, but I can assure you that that is what everybody is a little peeved about. We wanted a solution to the NBFC crisis. You cannot give one-time 6-month partial credit guarantee to public sector banks for first loss up to 10%. It's like you've taken it through 10 slivers and said, okay, I give you this much.